the author of the note. Dan, thanks for joining us. So walk us through your theory. Elon Musk, Tesla, now tied to Bitcoin because of the tweets, because of the investment. Walk us through it.
Yeah, it's really ever since the investment, the $1.5 billion, and even though that's less than 10% overall cash, it's really something they dove into the deep end of the pool on Bitcoin on a transaction perspective. And I think what you're seeing, even though on paper profit is still about 750 million, that added risk and volatility, it's definitely sent some investors that we've talked to the exits. I still think it's a near-term issue, but ultimately, this is something right now tied at the hip to some extent with Bitcoin for good as well as for bad.
And it's funny you say some investors thought it was too risky, but I would think so many investors that are looking at Tesla are also looking very squarely at Elon Musk himself. It's a bet on him as much as it is the company. He's obviously a risk taker. So in general, is the bulk of the Tesla investor base all in on Bitcoin too as an investment for the company?
Yeah, the vast majority, and it's my opinion, this was the smart strategic bet at the right time. I mean, Musk and Tesla continue to be forward thinkers. And I think it's something where, they're going to continue to talk, but walk the walk when it comes to Bitcoin. Now, ultimately, why we believe the stock and market cap hits $1 trillion is from EV. That's what's going to get it there, heading into a golden age of EVs. But Bitcoin, that just speaks to the DNA of Musk. And he's had the golden touch the last few years. It's hard to bet against him. That's why most investors still in that camp, despite some of these white knuckle period we're seeing over the last 48 hours.
So I want to get to the EV market, but I want to ask you another question here about the cryptocurrency and the tie to Tesla. Elon Musk obviously moved the price of Bitcoin pretty markedly by just adding one-word tweets, changing his bio on Twitter. I mean, we know he's gotten in trouble in the past for things that he's tweeted. Is this a slippery slope for Elon Musk to get involved and to make these kind of statements, even if one word? Clearly, he's able to move the price of this cryptocurrency in a really big way.
Yeah, he moves markets. And I think it is a slippery slope. And I think the broader issue, it's a sideshow that overshadows the transformative EV growth story that's happening in Tesla, China front and center. And I think that's the worry of investors. We've seen it with Musk before. You take the good with the bad. But in terms of Twitter, that's sort of been some of the downfall that we've seen. No doubt, I think it's contained right here. But I think it just sees what we've seen. It's going to continue from a Bitcoin perspective. It adds volatility, and it's a bit like playing with firecrackers. There is some downside, and that's what you're seeing, especially over the last few days.
When you hear figures like Janet Yellen and Jerome Powell talk about studying the cryptocurrency, and Janet Yellen saying it's still inefficient, do you think comments like that sort of further fire up Elon Musk and just cause him to sort of dig his heels in even more with something like Bitcoin?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, knowing Musk, and I think that contingent with Saylor and MicroStrategy and others, it really almost becomes a UFC battle. From a Bitcoin perspective, on one side, you're going to have the believers, and there are many out there. And we think you'll see more and more, from a company perspective, transactions as well as investments over the coming years. But then on the other side, as we heard from Yellen and others, there's a lot of skeptics, and it creates inefficiency. And this is going to continue to almost add to the emotional bull-bear story on Tesla. And I think a lot of the bears, they're going to come out of hibernation mode, even though they've been in there for about a year.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.